So what I went on doing, I felt that there is need for us to have a component in our system where we can do what I call the disbursement. Disbursement is a situation whereby we want to give farmers inputs. So what will happen? I'll have a group of farmers that would want to be part of my project, right? So or each farmer will join a project, right? So here in our projects, I added the project module, and inside our project module, we will have a contractor here. So this guy funds this project with items. So when you fund this project with items, then people join this project. When you join this project, then you are given a contract. Yeah, you have your contract. And inside my contract, I refactored this code because I found out that there was some imbalances or some design flaws that we had done in the previous lecture that we did together. So I fixed that. I removed some of the fields that I felt they were not really necessary. So I ended up having a contractor, a farmer inside the field, and I tried to fix it also to remove some URLs and stuff like that that weren't very necessary to me. So this is how our contract looks like. So if you join a certain project, then you are given a contract. So we define your contract by contract ID, where we notify that this contractor is a contract with this farmer. Then this was signed on this day. Then the description is like that, contract type and stuff like that. So after having a contract, then we can disperse inputs to you through the disbursement module. So in this disbursement, we can choose to disperse items of any type. That's why we have our items module here. We are just much concerned about the name of the item that's dispersed to you, the supplier. The supplier now, we can remove this table called supplier because I then added a merchant whereby the merchant is sort of the supplier of that kind of input. Let's say it's money. This is optional because sometimes you might not have an input as an item, or in other cases where it's not mandatory, then you can actually create a table without facing integral issues. Then we are also interested about the quantity, how much things were disbursed to you in a certain disbursement that we plan to do. Then the price of it, the cost and other things that are associated with that kind of thing. So this is how finally.
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Can you send a chat so that maybe we can hear you? It's actually really. Can you just type in to the chat so that I can be able to hear you?
Hello?
So waiting for Mbaiwa's contribution. Maybe if you can post it in the chat, we can be able to hear your concerns.
Hello, Mr. Mparu.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I'm not gonna pay the ID and password so that no one's join on a computer because I've been trying to join the link, but it's Urambo.
No, but is there any problem if we continue on that device that you are on?
Oh, I know it's okay. It's okay.
It's fine, huh?
It's okay.
So we're just discussing, Bayo was trying to give in a contribution, but we can't clearly hear you. But I don't know. Maybe I can continue. But generally, I've added this discussion where we can actually be able to give farmers inputs and be able to control what items do we send, do group sending. Let's say we want to give 100 farmers 100 bags of fertilizer each. Then this module has a potential to solve that issue. And let's say we want to send them money and stuff like that. We want to create farmers group based on the project. Let's say Command Agriculture, we want to give you 10 bags of fertilizer or something like that. Then we can simply do a button click, then the input are displayed like that. Then the next thing that the farmer receives is that consignment that they receive on the system. So they will receive a message and the order is delivered to them. So the whole process will be automated, even the payments and stuff like that. That will be a smart solution that I think if we are able to do something like that, then that will be very fine. So continuing on that, I will just show you guys around the editions that I make and why I did make that. If there is anyone who discovered any design flaws in the previous model that we made, then I'll be very grateful. So if we try to run this, it's now working because I spent the 2 hours yesterday trying to just look around and see any design flaws that we might have done in the previous lecture. So if I go to my database now, you can actually see if you come here, I don't know why this is. I'm sure I didn't. I hope I didn't. I hope I. So the first thing that I did, I actually added province. So that's what you were supposed to do, and I created my 5 province in here. And the usual way you would do, let's say we want which province is not here. Mad Central maybe, but I don't think in Zimbabwe there's this.
Manicaland.
Manicaland. Yes. So I added this Manicaland. So you would come here and say apply, then you copy this query. In case you create again and disturb the database, it will be very, very foolish for you to recreate it. So what I usually do, I have these queries in sort of in my query tab here. So the data that I create, I'll just rerun the queries and recreate the data in case I lose the data, because it will be something that's not good for you to try again to recreate this data. So after creating my province, I went on to create my districts, because the reason being, Let me show you the reason. If you try to create a farmer without, if you try to create a farmer without a province or without a district, you can't because there is a referential interface. We need those fields for you to be able to create those ones. So let's say we have a new district here with 100, with 100 was province ID is 1. Then again, this is how we would do it. Then you apply this, your query executes successfully. Then you are ready to go. Then I put here as a district here. Then perfect. Then I went on to create my farmers. Yeah, because now I have districts and province. So this acts as the master data for me. Then I came here. And say first name, maybe say Anesu, and 67 47 03. Then the name of the Jarwe, coordinates will be X9, now X10, and long to be the X11, then it will be 0772 494 825. Yeah. District is, and the district will be 1. So let's say I put 11 here, and there's no district 11. This will happen to me. If you try to apply this, you see it will give you this error. Why? Cannot add or update child foreign key constraint farmers what reference TID. Fit into. Why is it throwing this error? Anyone?
Can I try?
Yes, you can try.
This one here, Mori, and my Edra 11, of which there's a relationship between this field Edra and another field, of which in the other field apana my variables Eda. I don't know what field that.
This is the district ID. There's no district ID with ID 11. So that's why he's saying I can't edit it because you are not there. You are not there. So if I choose something that's there, then we are able to save that record. Then I will be able to paste that here. Then after creating that, I went on to after creating that, I went into add contractors because now we want to add contractors here. So you just come here, add so and so and so and so. These are my contractors. Then after that, I went on to add my contracts. These are like this. Then after adding my contracts, then perfectly well, I think I'm ready to do transactions with big data. Then I created a joint between farmers and contracts. I just want to know which farmer is on contract with which contractor. Then I write this joint query. Then if I'm not mistaken, this brings me results. Nice results. I'm not too sure why it's not. Right, it's complaining that there's no database collected. Then I need to run this query. Right, then if I run this query, then I should be able to see results. Then these are the results. So this query just join two tables, farmers and contractor. I want a contract ID. Then I want a contract ID and contractor ID, farmer's first name, farmer's last name, farmer's ID number from contracts inner join with farmers on contracts, farmer's ID and farmer ID equal to farmer ID. So it will join, this is like an inner join that joins between which farmers are on contract and to which contract. Then you can be able to display those results. So using this data, I'm able to display these results. So you can do all types of joins and all types of queries on this database. And I didn't find any design flaw with this database. And that's when I became confident that this database is okay. And the reason why I dumped this contract DB, I sort of started the same process with this database last night, and I felt that it was not okay after doing some of the queries, because one of the issues that I faced with this was that at first I was able to create farmers. I think I was able to create farmers, that was cool, but when I went on to create contractors, I couldn't create contractors the way I really wanted. So for each, the design that we had, for each contract ID, we would have contract, right? For each contractor, we will need one farm. So there was a one-to-one mapping. That was a mistake. Then I removed that one. I removed that sort of a dependence, and it doesn't make sense. Then the URL I felt is not necessary, and some other fields that were in that kind of a code. Then I sort of made a bit of changes also in contract to make sure that if we are to have a contract, we will be able to realize that this contract is between this contractor and this farm. We wouldn't want a situation where we don't know that which contract belongs to which contract. But I still think there is more to be done, especially in terms of contract types and stuff like that. The reason why I wanted you guys to look at these things is to really understand the design process and how you design databases and be a pro in that area. So it is shame on you if you guys didn't bother looking at these things, because you are not giving yourself a chance to really get into the dark side of their design database systems. So it means you are not a good developer if you don't know how to design databases. So this will be your internship interview questions. And if you can't demonstrate that you are able to write queries and be able to design a database, no one will take you in, and you are being a disadvantage to your own self. So please, I urge you guys to really look into these things, identify any flaws with this database design so that you can be able to meet up with the standard that we are bringing into this system. There's a lot of design and optimization that I think I need to do. especially in terms of field constraints, querying, and optimizing the database connections. So enough of talking. I think we are at a point where I would want to hear up your questions so that I can attend to them, and maybe try to explain more things from your questions, so that when you go into the next thing, which is where we are going to develop a REST web service, you guys are familiar with these things. So, any questions?
Yes, Mr. Mparuri. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Mparuri, can you please explain again the era of update? Is it add or update child?
Okay.
Foreign key or not?
Right. Let me try to create that error now. So an example would be, let's say here in my database, I come here in district here, right? This database table called district has got a relationship with right? This is how I would try to, let's say it's a legacy system that I'm working on. I'll do this district. Then it will give me the description of the table, that this is an ID table, and this ID table is of type big int and allows 20 bits allocated to it. Then it's a primary key and it's auto incremented. So if something is auto incremented, you have seen that you cannot add your own ID, your custom ID. It will automatically increment the next ID. Then deleted, it can be now, version can be now, var character, what 250, the name, then total int, then province ID. So it says got a relationship with province ID, which means it's actually a foreign key here. So I would do a select. I would want to show you what happens with the child problem. So it means that if you do this, if you try to add a new district here, let's try to add. No, we are in districts table, right? If I try to add a district in here, what's the name of your village? District where you coming from?
Goto, I think. I don't know.
It's in which province?
Shonaland East, I think.
Right. So let's say we're trying to save your district in here. Then I apply, right? And I say apply. You see, it will complain about this constraint child relationship, right? This comes up where you want to add from in a secondary table where a key that is not in the primary key table. So it will be complaining like, you want to save this table, but I don't have that key. Or in the child table, we don't have that key. So whenever you are saving data with different, with a child or a foreign key relationship, you should make sure that in that table, you need to have that record, which is the ID of the table that you are referring to. For example, in this in this scenario, we have province. So if we come to province here, we don't have an ID of type 13. So it means we can't be creating a record with ID 13. It will complain and say the child table doesn't have something like that.
Oh, okay. So, so in order for you to make additions in one table, you have to make sure that if it has a relationship with another table, that table is updated such that maybe you want to make additions as city in the relationship. You can make additions. In other words,
What? Can you
I'm saying like so. I'm saying, suppose you're saying, so if there's one table, for example, a contractor in
yes.
or farmer in a relationship with a contractor,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to make additions in farmer, and then those additions at Zimo suppose more contractor, you have to first update contractor so that you can make those additions more farmer.
Yes, because we can't we can't give a contract to a farmer for some contractor who is not in our system.
Okay, I understand.
So that's the concept of referential integrity. We should make sure that our database reference to existing things rather than things that don't exist. You get it?
Yes, I get it. Thank you.
Yeah. So Mbayo are just asking what's the best data type for an enum. So you will see that enums are described are descriptive, and most of the time we will have it in our application. So to just save them in a database, we predefine them. So the first enum will have a tiny int of ID 1, then the second enum may be denoted by 2, then the third enum may be denoted by 3. So if type 1, let's say contractor type is 1, then we say, let's say farming is contractor type 1. Then in our database, then contractor type of type farming will be represented by just a 1. Then